something that you said recently really piqued my interest. You were on Chris Jericho's podcast,
yes.
and you said that Bryan Danielson is the wrestler you always wish that you could be on that podcast. Can you elaborate a little bit on that and tell us why that statement is true to you?
Well, because he's got no bad habits, and he, there's been times when he's had problems injury-wise and he's been out, but he's overcome it all. I've got to where I've got to by, that's what I was like when I was younger, to try to get, but I was never as good as him when I first met him, when he was, in 2000, he was 19 or 20. First night I watched him, I'm like, wow, he's in a different league to what I was at this stage of the game, right? I was, I wanted to be able to wrestle as good as him, but I wasn't built for it. I wanted to be a junior heavyweight, like Rollerball Rocco and Finlay and or a mid heavyweight. But I grew to 6'3" and I didn't have the athletic ability, so I went the traditional British heavyweight route, and that changed over time with different things. But I had to grow into that. Bryan has got no kind of whatever that I had going on and things that have sent me off the wrong path and whatever. It's 22 years ago since I did any of that, and it seems to follow me around. But it was thing, and it affected my health later on and different things that have happened. So there's no downside to him. Also, he's got through this. I set a set of standards out for myself once I was 18, and I was starting to figure this out, and I've never broken. And I don't want to get too deep into that, but it's why people look at me the way I am now. I'm never going to say yes when the answer is no. Is one of the reasons why I had the job I had before, but it's also maybe one of the reasons I don't have it now. But I won't do anything. Like I'm quite happy understanding my role in wrestling, right? Sometimes you've got to do things and to bother people and do whatever and to get to a high position. That's in any form of entertainment or sports. Sorry, this thing might fall down because I've got a lizard walking around here that's trying to knock it over. And I don't want you to see all my lizard equipment behind me, right? You can hear it, right? He's decided to go. He's off his nut. He might end up here in a minute. And Bryan has never, since I've met him, he's stayed polite, kind, helpful, done everything right, and he's never broke. And he has the same kind of set of standards as me. He's got to where he got to on his talent and his way of doing it without doing any. And I mentioned Chris Jericho before. Chris has so it's not. I'm not saying anything that Chris hasn't said. Chris has wrote in his books how he had to do certain things to get to the position he got to. Right, and there's nothing wrong with it. You have to do that. Well, I just, that's not me. I'm just quite happy just doing what you need. Yes, thank you very much. Bryan's never done any of that, never had to, and got to where he got to. So that's what I mean when I say he's the wrestler. Plus, he's better than I ever was, right? He's got a better brain for this. I've got a really good brain for this, but he's better. And I've said this before, there's a lot of people better at putting match structures together or knowing when to do the right thing at the right time. I just used to go out and do my thing, and it either worked or it didn't. And sometimes it wasn't my job to. I listened. This is where you start getting a bit upsetting people. Wasn't my job to steal the show. I was under orders from my bosses. Right, I need you to go out there and grind on this person and do this to get them, to make them look better or tougher or whatever. And I did it. See me on a live event, and you may have in Scotland. I don't know if you ever did in Glasgow.
Yeah.
I was a one-man riot machine. I would go out and echo it, and I could tear but that wasn't my role a lot of times on TV. It was my role. Edge was a perfect example. I was doing the commission thing, and then, okay, we need you to wrestle this lad because we think there's something in him, but we need you to make him look tough and take a good beating, you know. And that was my role there. And that's it. I understand the business, so I haven't got an ego, right? I just do my job. So it was, okay, we got to go through these matches, but I'm going to pound on you and I'm going to make it so you can go. I think it was Kurt Angle next, or Eddie, or somebody, so you can move up, and it worked out for him, right? But it needed to take. They asked me to be the first person, because he'd been in this tag team. Can you make him look like he can take a good hiding? Well, I'm not out there to steal the show on that. I'm out there to make him look. Whether people realize that, some fans don't see the end game of that. They may go, oh, well, that was a bit physical, maybe not the style we want to see. No, but it made him look like he could take a good hiding. And at the end of it, it comes through as him moving on to a bigger star than me, and a bigger star. So Bryan's got through all of these things, these incredible things, and got to where he got to by just being better, and still stayed a really. He can look himself in the mirror and look his children in the eyes and never have to think, oh, I had to do that to get to there.
I just want a year off. I need to just rest. I knew it's coming because the person you've sent to try to look over us, I think is an idiot. And I'm telling him to his face that he's an idiot over and over again. And he can't have that. And I understood that. I understood that because nobody knew when Triple H, if he was ever going to come back. And I didn't know. So I understand it's total makes business sense to take me out of the equation, because everybody there didn't matter what happened, they still come to me.